intercourse with his sisters, and more. The dark side of Roman Emperor Caligula's personality. Greetings. Today, we will talk about one of the most controversial and ambiguous figures in history. It's about the Roman ruler Caligula. Is it true that the emperor married 4 times and his wives were sisters? What was so valuable looked for the inhabitants of ancient Rome in the dung of Caligula's horse? And how did the mad ruler during the mass bacchanalia and why he took away in a secret room wives of his guests? Be sure to watch the video to the very end, because we have collected really shocking details from the life and rule of Caligula. Coming to power. For you, for sure, will be a discovery of the fact that the Roman Emperor Caligula ruled the state for only 4 years. The man came to power at the age of 24 years in March 37 AD and left the post of emperor in the 41st year. Actually, in this year, the fate of the ruler once and for all decided the conspirators. It is necessary to begin with that Gaius Julius Caesar Augustus Germanicus, full name of Caligula, came from a dynasty of Julius Claudius. Unfortunately, at an early age, Caligula lost his parents. That is why the upbringing of the boy was taken up by his grandmothers. Also, Caligula was in the constant company of his siblings. But who would have thought that they would become his official wives? And it's really true. The emperor, during his short life, 28 years, married 4 times and to his own sisters. Claudilla, Caesonia, Paulina, or Estilla. All of them married the Roman emperor. Caligula later had a daughter and a son, Julia Drusilla and Tiberius Gemellus. And then, of course, the question arises, how is it that even the emperor himself was engaging in incest with his relatives? Inbreeding was really not welcomed in that period and indicated a contradiction of moral norms and family values. Except that Caligula had a psychological trauma before he became emperor. It is just connected with the loss of people dear to him. Then something snapped in Caligula, and he began to look at his own sisters. That's the end result. And although the reign of the Roman emperor was short, for future successors and contemporaries, he became the personification of sadism, sexual proclivities, and mental disorders. But, as they say, there were positive sides. For example, the Roman emperor pardoned several political prisoners, revised some judicial sentences and proceedings, and also conducted a successful foreign policy. But otherwise, this ruler neglected morality, and debauchery became a common phenomenon during his reign. A valuable gift. Agree that when it comes to the best friend of a man, most people necessarily point to the dog. But Caligula thought otherwise. Then how to explain the fact that at the disposal of the Roman emperor was a favorite horse named Incitatus? Caligula became so attached to his pet that he treated him better than any other person. Incitatus was originally given to the man as a gift. It is now clear that he was of great importance to the ruler. Caligula treated his horse like a human being. Just imagine, Incitatus in the evenings dined with Caligula and even drank hot drinks. And oatmeal was not just a treat for Incitatus, but of the highest grade and quality. But that was nothing compared to what the people around him thought. Over time, some of the Romans began to spread rumors that Incitatus eats real gold, the remains of which are not digested in the body of the animal, and therefore come out with the dung. It is logical to assume that the inhabitants of ancient Rome learned about such news, and the poor strata of the population even began to thoroughly go through animal waste in the hope of finding precious metals and quickly enrich themselves. And yes, Caligula did appoint a horse as his consul. This decision was due to the fact that the Roman emperor was not experiencing the best years of his life. Plus, the man was well aware that there was a plot against him, and so needed allies who would support the ruler in a difficult moment. But since, as you remember, Incitatus the emperor trusted more than others, it was the horse that Caligula ordained as a senator. Alas, no matter how hard Caligula tried, the plot against the emperor still took place. All the conspirators achieved the ultimate goal: overthrew the Roman ruler. But why such events could not be avoided? The answer is simple. It is unjustified actions of Caligula, which caused a lot of discontent and scandals. And not only on the part of statesmen, but also on the part of ordinary citizens of ancient Rome. But the most striking was the so-called practice of bacchanalia and debauchery, which became widespread during the reign of Caligula. Let's examine this issue in more detail. Debaucherous banquets and feasts. To date, it is no longer a secret that under Caligula there were mass debauchery with the participation of many segments of the population. By the way, the emperor did not imagine a full life without these banquets and feasts. which in turn ended in bacchanalia. And everything began with the fact that people as potential guests only came to relax, eat, and drink. On the ancient Roman table was necessarily present wine. Such festivals were originally dedicated in honor of the ancient Roman deity Bacchus, hence the name Bacchanalia. Bacchus had an analogue of the ancient Greek god Dionysus, who patronized winemaking. Let's return to banquets and feasts. It was only necessary to get drunk ancient Roman people as the guests began to declare each other in love. And this was followed by more than just feelings. You probably already know what we're talking about. And if you add the fact that everything happened in the late hours of the day, everything will fall into place. As for Caligula, in this case, the emperor certainly had a lot of fun, and in every sense of the word. In the study of numerous sources, it was found out that the ruler often secluded with the wives of his guests. In practice, it happened as follows. Married couples sat freely at the table and talked quietly. At that moment, Caligula came to them and took the female representatives to a secret room. These were basically sleeping quarters meant for a few people. And when they closed the door behind them, the passions were not childish. Caligula would fulfill all his cherished desires and then let the girl or woman go. But that's not all. The emperor described in great detail to the guest what he had done to his wife. Of course, the couple was shocked for a long time. But there was nothing ordinary people could do about it. First, they were dealing with the Roman emperor himself. And secondly, Caligula enjoyed unlimited power and thus could afford something more. Fortunately for all the people of ancient Rome, the ruler was taken care of by senators and other statesmen. At the dawn of his reign, it became clear that cosmic sums of money were spent on those very bacchanalia, banquets, and feasts. At the same time, the economy of the state was not receiving the necessary money to maintain stability. Taxes also increased, which greatly affected the state budget. So in 41st year, the long-awaited conspiracy against Caligula took place. By the way, after mass debauchery, this issue was also taken up from above and thus significantly limited human vices. Conclusion. Thus, the reign of Caligula became a symbol of debauchery, immoral actions, and madness. The emperor in no way could not control himself, since all the misfortunes happened to him at an early age and left an imprint in the following years. Therefore, this ruler is considered truly one of the most controversial personalities in the history of mankind.